This brings me to the subject of paradox. Paradox is a very funny thing, and usually is a large stumbling block on the spiritual path for many spiritual seekers, because the mind just cannot make all these paradoxes fit together in a logical sense, because all of it is true, and none of it is true at the same time. All points of view are valid. This person's truth over here is true. That person's truth over there is true. This person's truth is true. It's all true. And yet, there's contradictions everywhere. Even in spiritual teachings, there's going to be contradictions, because there's so many individual cases. What might be true for one person might not be true for this person over here. So learn to accept paradox and allow it to be unchallenged by the mind. It's important to ask questions and challenge things that are taught, or challenge things that are presented as knowledge. It's important to have the intelligence and the mind powers to discern what's true for you. But if you find yourself all tripped up on all of these different contradictions that you're going to find everywhere, in everything people teach and all the books, one book says do it this way, another one says do it that way. This book will work for this handful of people, and this book will work for that handful of people. Let it be okay that there are all these contradictions and paradoxes in the universe. And you will find less trouble with the mind. The mind is always the last to get it. For instance, these words I'm giving you right now, they're for the mental body. But really what's being transmitted to you has nothing to do with these words. It has to do with the heart. Your heart is far wiser than the mind. Paradox is a strange phenomena. And yet, once you accept that it's there, it no longer bothers the mind. The mind is very bothered by paradox. Everything needs to be all linear and straight and lined out very well. The mind hates paradox. But the eternal self embraces it all. All of it is allowed. All of it is true. All of it is valid. When you say black and someone else says white, both are true. One says good, the other says evil, both are true. So let go of this need to find the truth, so to speak, because the truth, in a way, keeps changing. There's one truth that remains the same and really is the truth, and that is consciousness is here, everywhere, in every perspective. That's true. Everything else is open to interpretation as to whether it's true or not true. So if you have to absorb some truth and say this is true, then I would say Just look at consciousness and accept that as true. That's the only thing that isn't an illusion. Everything else that appears and disappears is illusion. Thoughts, concepts, words, events, places, people, things, planets. It's all illusion. It appears and disappears. If it has a beginning, it has an end. This is illusion, the Mahalila, the grand dance, the great drama. So just work with what rings true to you. Some spiritual seekers ask, well, how do I know what's true? How do I discern what I should follow? And I would always say, look to the heart, not the mind, for truth, for the signature of truth. There's a signature energy. When you know something is true, you feel it in your heart. And then maybe you know it in your mind, but your heart knows first, always knows first. So use your heart as your steering mechanism when you're looking for truth. And do not listen to the mind, because it doesn't know the truth. It may think it knows the truth, but what it thinks is truth usually changes as soon as awareness changes. And again, just realize the only thing that is not illusion, and it is the absolute truth, is consciousness itself.